Like I've already pushed it, but just go ahead and start. I can edit out the
Okay.
beginning of it.
Hi everybody and Happy New Year. Michael Gardner again. It's been about a week or a little more than a week since I last did a video. I wanted to share a couple things today. One of them is there's 4 words that will stop us from learning anything, and that is, I already know this. I'm going to talk today a little bit about energy, but what I also want to share is, all these things that I'm doing for me. Because yes, I already know this, but sometimes I forget that I already know this, and it's good to have a reminder. So if you're in that mode of, well, I already know this stuff, just know that even if, whether you watch this or not, you're pretty much shut off to learning a lot of things, because that's where you're coming from. And that ties into energy. And the concept of energy is that everything is energy. All around us is energy, inside of us is energy. And what we're creating has a lot to do with the energy that we not only put out, but what we attract to us. When we're born with an energy of innocence, of purity, where there's no, really at that point, any beliefs about how life is. But we go through life and we have these experiences, and then what we do is we attach meaning to those experiences. So like if somebody calls us a name, that's an experience, but we attach a meaning to it. Either there's something wrong with me, or maybe we believe whatever they may say, and that becomes part of the energy that's in us. So a lot of what happens as we go through life is we attract things to us, we wonder why. Well, that energy can stay within us. And so even though we're not thinking about it, even though we say things like, well, I put it past me, I'm beyond that, it still can be in there, and it can be a subconscious energy that attracts to us the things that that might be unpleasant for us, that we don't really like. So one of the things I want to touch on is starting to be aware of what's that unconscious energy that we may be putting out. When the movie The Secret came out, I really liked it, but one of the things that came to me was, as they were talking about, you can attract anything you want, you just have to think positive thoughts about it, or just think about it. But the thought that came to me is, what happens when I stop consciously thinking about those things? What are the thoughts that are going on when I'm not aware of what I'm thinking about? And so we might have looked at The Secret and said, okay, there was the example of the bicycle being manifest. So I'm going to manifest a bicycle into my life. So I'll think about a bicycle, but then it doesn't happen, and we say, oh, The Secret doesn't work. Well, maybe it did actually work, because perhaps our unconscious thoughts were, there will be no bicycle. We don't even realize that. Why would we have that thought? Because our unconscious thoughts might have been, oh, this can't work, this isn't really true, this is just make-believe stuff, etc., etc., etc. So being aware of our unconscious thoughts as far as how that works as far as attraction is important. How does attraction work? How does the law of attraction work? Well, if you took a tuning fork that was tuned to the key of C, and you went into a room with hundreds of tuning forks, some of them tuned to the key of C, others tuned to different keys, and you struck that tuning fork, all of those tuning forks that are tuned to the key of C will start to vibrate. Well, that's kind of how the law of attraction works. The law of attraction actually is a subset of the law of vibration. It's saying that everything vibrates and gives off an energy, and the law of attraction says like energy attracts like energy. So if you struck a tuning fork that was tuned to the key of C or whatever, and there were other tuning forks that were also tuned to that, they will start to vibrate. They will attract, so to speak, to each other. So I don't have this rehearsed, I don't know if you can tell, but anyway, so as we're giving out thoughts and energy, it is attracting to us the things that are tuned into the same vibrational level. So love has a vibration, fear has a vibration, judgment has a vibration, trust has a vibration, acceptance has a vibration, etc., etc., etc. So it's important to be aware of what are we putting out energetically. A lot of that is tied into our thoughts. And as I have done trainings over the years, and I've asked people what they wanted, it's interesting how they respond. Their initial response seems to be to tell me what they don't want. Well, why is that important to know? Because that tells me a lot about where they're coming from and a lot about what their thought process is. It's not tuned into the things that they want, it's tuned into what they don't want. So maybe when you think about certain things like love, your subconscious thoughts say, well, I don't want to be hurt, I don't want to get left behind, I don't want to be alone. Maybe when you have a thought about finances, your subconscious thoughts are, I don't want to go broke, I don't want to be poor, etc., etc., etc. So it's important to recognize those thoughts. So one of the things I'm going to challenge you to do is to, in the next day or two, every time you have a subconscious thought that comes to the surface that says, I don't want this or I don't want that, no matter what it is, to write it down. And just notice how many times in a day, even that you're aware of, that you have a thought that is more about what you don't want than it is about what you do want. And just know that for every time you write that down, you're probably 10 times more so thinking that you're not even aware of. Now, if your thought is, well, I never do that, if your first thought is, I never do that, what I'd say is, get over yourself, because you probably do. But your subconscious thought may be, I don't want to believe that I do that. So just get over it and just see what happens when you do this. And we'll see you next time.